Hey, so we started the same way with the velocity of the car, except I added a symbol here. The v is velocity. It's the same symbol that you see in the diagram. So we have the v for velocity, and then there's a 0 subscript. And what that 0 tells you is that that's the beginning velocity. That's the velocity to start with. Or another way of thinking about it is that's the velocity at time equals 0. When we begin, before we start doing anything, that's the initial velocity that we start at. And so the initial velocity that we're going to start the section at is the same as the velocity we had above. But what's the velocity going to be at the end of the braking section? How fast is the car going to be going at the end? 0. We already know that because we know the whole point is we're trying to stop, right, to avoid hitting someone. And so we know that our velocity after we brake, or at the end of all this, is going to be 0. How far will the car skid?
Just die. Here.
Velocity of person.
And so we're going to call that the final velocity. That's why it gets a subscript of f. That means that's the final velocity, and we already know what the answer is because we defined it. We're not going to highlight it because we already know it. We're going to fill in the number right now. So it's going to be 0 meters per second. Oops. I don't want it to go on the next one. Wait, how do you want to talk?
Oh. Wait, what? Underline.
Yep, underline. Yep, we already know it. We can fill it in. We don't have to worry about that one. We know that the velocity of the car after we brake should be 0. We should stop. That's our goal. So our initial velocity is unknown at this point, but we're going to figure it out by looking at the video. My lad, bro.
Okay, now, un drogadito. I can't lie.
Now, this next quantity is something new because it's not something we had to deal with in the other sections. So when we went from initial velocity of whatever the car is going down to a final velocity of 0, what happened to the car? What was the car doing?
Sliding.
In more general terms, what's the car doing if it's going from an initial velocity of whatever down to nothing?
Stopping.
It's slowing down. In general, we say that the car's slowing down. The speed is decreasing or the velocity is decreasing. In physics, we have a special term for when an object's velocity is changing. It is a rate of change because the velocity is changing, so it is a rate of change, but we're going to get a little bit more specific than that because rate of change is a general term. We're specifically talking about velocity changing. Does anyone know what it is called when velocity changes? What we call that in physics?
When velocity changes, what?
Yeah, the term that we give to change in velocity.
The change in velocity. Movement.
Thank you. Acceleration. Yeah, acceleration is defined as a change in velocity. Whether you're speeding up or slowing down, you're accelerating in physics. And so we need to know what is the acceleration? How fast slow down. We gotta know that.
The
That's something that-
acceleration.
Wasn't really super explicit in your questions, but it's something we have to know. So what does this acceleration do to braking? The acceleration is a brand new quantity, and so we'll give it a brand new polar.
Purple or pink?
Whichever it looks like to you.
Purple's better. You ever just like move the table with your stomach sometimes?
Yeah,
Whoa.
I hate.
Doesn't make sense. Too much.
So this is why we had a couple extra lines, because we had two velocities instead of one that we had to think about, and we had an acceleration that we didn't have in the other ones. Now, some of your questions down here actually deal with acceleration, because you had questions like, how well were the brakes working? You had questions like, what were the conditions of the tires or the road conditions, things like that. Those all factor into acceleration. The size of the vehicle, the weight of the vehicle, those are all important for figuring out acceleration. And so in order for us to get an acceleration that we can use, we're just going to get like an average acceleration. And so we're going to do a little bit of research and just see what is the average acceleration for someone who slams on, their brakes. There's brakes that are in good conditions and dry road conditions, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll do a little bit of reading.
Almost time until class is over.
Why do you
Wait, what time is it? It's 3:05. 25 minutes. Let's go. Finally, it took long enough. The school day. I feel like the school day went by too slow. And we have to wait for the next
Okay.
class to be over.
If we go back to your poster, you want to know how long it took the car to stop once it started braking? So that's our time of braking.
We already used. Yeah.
She got it.
You know what?
Guys, only like 30 more minutes.
Less than 30 minutes, actually. God dang it.
Okay. Time of braking is not something we can do a little mini experiment for. The other times we do a little mini experiment, we try to figure out what the reaction time is, what the distraction time is. We can't do that with time of braking. And if you think about it, how long it takes you to brake is going to depend on several things. It's going to depend on how fast you are going. It's going to depend on how fast you're slowing down. And so because those are important to figuring out the time of braking, we're going to have to find a mathematical model that works. It's not as simple as just measuring. Now again, the distance that the car goes while braking is more complex than all the other ones. Because now we're slowing down. Anytime you're changing your motion, it gets more complex in terms of how you calculate an answer. This is where we're going to need our computational thinking. So we're going to have a spreadsheet for complex motion that we're going to use to figure this out.
Bro.
Get mathematical.
So we're going to get that mathematical model from the complex motion spreadsheet. It's not something that we're going to get from a lab or anything like that. We'll get part of it from a lab. But we'll have to get the rest of it from the spreadsheet. Now we only have 2 things left to fill in, and we'll be done with page 22 today. This is 2 bottom boxes. If I wanted to know the total distance that the car traveled, how would I figure that out? How would I figure out the total distance that the car traveled? How would I find the total distance the car traveled?
I don't care. So
After braking or before braking?
The total distance.
Measuring it.
So I want to know how far, what's the total distance that the car traveled?
Just measuring.
I have no idea.
Do you know how far the car traveled while you were distracted? We don't know a distance right now, but we know that we are going to have a mathematical model figured out, right? It'll be a known distance. Huh? Will we know the total distance the car traveled while you were reacting? Will we know the total distance the car traveled while we are braking? How would I get the overall total distance the car traveled? How do we get the total distance the car traveled?
Is this an equation?
Uh-huh. I want to know this distance.
It's a
Look at
rewind.
the diagram. How would you get this distance?
Reaction time plus the reaction time and the braking time.
Fine. I want distance.
The velocity.
I want distance.
Distance.
Yeah, you add up all the distances, right? If I know that all 3 distances, which I'm going to figure out, we have a plan to figure it out now. If I add this distance and this distance and this distance, that's the total distance the car traveled. Yeah, so let's write that down in that bottom box because that's what goes there. Let's go back in. Distance total equals
312.
distance subtracted plus distance
Hey, we get to leave at 10.
Plus distance
2 on. We get to leave at 2 tomorrow.
braking.
We get to leave in automotive class.
Cannot move it any higher. You will have to move. It does not move any higher. Total distance equals distracted distance plus reaction distance plus braking distance.
I was right.
I know, that's why you have to have your little subscripts hanging off of them, because there's so many.
Exactly.
So that equation is going to be super important for us to figure out whether or not we're going to hit the walker. Because that's going to tell us how far we actually travel. Again, D total equals D distracted plus D reaction plus D braking. That's how far the car is going to travel. We have just one more thing to type in here.
Of course.
One more value, one more equation to type out. One more piece of information.
Oh, the bottom part.
First part is distance, the part is equal.
Here's my next question. How can I tell if I'm going to hit the walker or not?
Velocity.
How can I tell though? Using the information that I have, using the information in the diagram, how can I tell whether or not I hit the walker?
How long it takes you to fully stop?
How long or
How far?
how far I go, right? So if my total